I'll probably get a lot of pushback from making this video, but I'm going to make it anyway. I think that I've earned the right to speak on the topic that I'm going to address today. And so on today, I'm going to address church members, church folks, religious folks, how you guys can make or break a ministry. In light of everything that's going on, everything that's coming to light about the religious sector, everything that's being exposed, it's really not a surprise. It's been going on for a long time. It's just that we've decided to sweep it under the rug or turn a blind eye to it. But everything that's coming out, it's nothing new. There's nothing new up under the sun. The things that we see going on has been going on since biblical times, and it's just increased. It has become more and more the norm instead of the abnormal. And so this video is by no means to talk or discuss the TD Jakes situation. That's not my call. That's not what I'm making this video for on today. This video is not to bash the church, because the church is called the bride of Christ, the members of his body. But it is to address church members, those who occupy the pews, and church folks, those who have hurt good people and have done some things to run good people away from the church. When you discuss church hurt, people want to shush you. They want to quiet you down. Oh, let's not talk about that. But church hurt is real. It's very real. And there's a lot of people who came to the church who had a heart for God, that was searching for God, who wanted to serve God, who wanted their children to grow up and to serve and to know the Most High God. But when they came in behind the four walls of the church, they encountered something very different than what they expected. And so we talk about the topic and we wonder why. Why are so many people falling away from the church? Why are churches half empty? Why is it that we have a hard time bringing in new church members and having the new church members to stay? Why do people go from church to church and then finally throw up their hands and say, you know what, church is not for me? A lot of people have given up on Christianity and they're saying they're no longer a Christian. But it's not that they no longer want to be a Christian. It's that they've encountered some things behind the four walls of the church that they should have never had to experience or have seen. Why is it that it's hard? Young people who grew up in the church, they don't want to come to church anymore. It's because of what they have seen. And if our young people are smart enough to catch on to the mess that's going on behind the four walls of the church, well, then what is to be said for church members who have occupied pews for 30, 40, 15, 20, 30, 40 years and still have not experienced any change? They go in the same, they come out the same. And yes, looking from outside at the church, it appears to have itself together. It appears that everyone that enters the doors of the church, that they have it together. They dress the part. They wear the big hats and the suits. They drive the right cars. There's all kinds of programs and ministries going on. But is there any change? Does all of these programs and the sharp cars and the big hats and the nice suits, is it stopping the corruption? Is it drawing people closer to God? And most, the arguments that I may receive, the pushback is that, well, those who felt, have fallen away from the church, they were never a part of us anyway. Okay, a certain percentage of that is true. But a certain percentage of that is not true. Everyone that has fallen away from the church, it doesn't mean that they were never a part of you in the beginning. myself included. I grew up in church all of my life. My grandmother took me to church. My mother took me to church. We were in church every Sunday, every Wednesday. Bible study, vacation Bible school as a child. And the things that I'm seeing now that my eyes have been opened to, and the things that I have experienced as an adult, I didn't see these things as a child. And not to say that they haven't been going on, because God says in his word that judgment is coming to the house of God first, that there's going to be a great shaking. There's going to be a very big shaking in the religious sector, and that's happening now. Even Jesus had a righteous indignation and turned over tables when he came in and he saw what was going on behind the four walls of the church. And he told them, my house should be called a house of prayer, not a den of thieves. And so come on, religious people, church folks, stop playing. Take accountability for what you've done. All of this stuff wouldn't be surfacing if it wasn't for what we haven't done. If we didn't do these things, it wouldn't be coming to the forefront. And some of you may say, well, oh, you're wrong if you go to church looking for perfection and looking at the people. You're supposed to be coming to find God, to keep your eyes on God. Well, it's hard to find God if you can't find God in his people. And where are you supposed to find godly people? Inside the four walls of the church, in the church. But no, when you come to church now, what are you met with? You're met with animosity. And your heart can be on fire for God. You can want to serve God, but you're met with animosity. If you come in and you have certain gifts and talents and you want to use those gifts and talents as a benefit, as an asset to the body of Christ, you're perceived as a threat. When you walk in the church nowadays, what do you see? You see cliques. You hear backbiting, backstabbing, gossip, a lot of arguing and bickering. You see people having affairs in the church, married people having affairs. You see worldliness. You see the same mess that's in the world, you find it in the church. And we're without excuse. We should be ashamed of ourselves, what we've done as the body of Christ, what we've done. We've made a mockery of the church. And so now that the shaking is going on and these things are being exposed, come on, people, church folks, religious folks, change. People change. Change.